Video games provide us with the ability to undertake challenges and create change in the world around us. At least, that's how it seems most of the time.
They're a bunch of self-concerned jackasses, Shepard.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 false choices in video games. For this list, we're focusing on moments in video games where it appears as if the player has a say on the outcome, but everything is already predetermined, causing these moments to have little to no influence on the gameplay or plot, leaving the option for a so-called choice pointless.
Is this kill switch real? What's it going to do to you?
I'm afraid that's, classified.
Number 10, which factions you help/destroy? Dragon Age Origins.
What? Don't be ridiculous.
Of course he'll say that. He might be a blood mage.
Picture this, a massive RPG in a high fantasy setting in which you control what is known as a Grey Warden, one of the last in an elite group of guardians. You got that? Okay, now add in the premise that you must choose which races to unite and which to destroy in hopes of defeating an evil archdemon once and for all and restoring peace to the world. That is quite the setup for some monumental decision making. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter who you side with or against, as it doesn't impact the end result of the story in any meaningful way.
I will do what I believe is in the best interests of the Circle, as I have always done.
Number 9. Can't Say No to Ravio. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Early on in this 3DS Zelda adventure, the player awakens in their house with this mysterious masked character after suffering a devastating loss to the game's antagonist Yuga. Ravio introduces himself to you as a traveling merchant in desperate need of a place to set up shop. After some chit-chat, Ravio looks around and takes a liking to his surroundings, asking to stay and to continue his business here in your home. Naturally, you'd want to think it over before allowing a random homeless stranger to stay in your house, right? Well, he doesn't share that point of view. Sucks to be you. Number 8, helping Shawn or Duck. The Walking Dead Season 1.
I thought I could help them both.
Look at him. You thought wrong. And now?
In this critically acclaimed adventure series from Telltale, the player is forced into many situations where tough calls need to be made. This is understandable, as in a scenario as intense and desperate as a zombie apocalypse, lines will be drawn and sacrifices will be made. Unfortunately, it's not always clear which outcomes are the result of your choices. When the undead attack Hershel's farm settlement, you are tasked with quickly choosing who to save, Hershel's son Shawn or the small boy named Duck.
I got you.
Don't let either decision weigh too heavily on your conscience though, as either choice results in Shawn dying. Bummer.
I got you. Eddie, help please! Eddie!
Number 7, the outcome of the trial, Chrono Trigger. Upon returning to Guardia Castle in this sequence from the massive SNES RPG, the character Chrono is accused of kidnapping the Princess Nadia, aka Marle, and plotting to seize the throne. As the title of this entry would suggest, what follows is a lengthy trial, in which Chrono is bombarded with a series of questions. Although your actions at the start of the game can change the progression of the trial, it is ultimately irrelevant as Chrono gets tossed in a jail cell regardless of whether or not he's found guilty. I guess there's no right to an attorney in this timeline, eh? Number 6, the bird or the cage. BioShock Infinite.
Bird.
Or the cage.
Or perhaps the bird.
Nothing beats the cage.
A slower moment between the frenetic action of this shooter, here the player bumps into the Lutece twins, who offer a pair of pendants to Elizabeth.
Look at these, they're amazing. Which one do you like more, this one or this?
While both of them look nice, don't lose too much hair choosing one, as both do nothing to change the overall gameplay experience.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I love it.
I suppose this entry can be cut some slack, as the two options do serve up some relatively blatant symbolism for the game's narrative. Without spoiling anything, and you can probably figure this out already, but the pendants represent freedom or imprisonment, respectively, and I guess the illusion of choice in this instance can represent how life sometimes works in cycles. But that might be giving it too much credit.
I expected the cage.
If you're going to be a sore loser, then I shan't do this again.
Now that's just sophistry.
Number 5, Anderson or Udina, Mass Effect.
Anderson prefers to let his fists do the talking.
Only with you, Ambassador.
Here is another BioWare series with a meaningless set of choices that don't amount to that much. At the end of Mass Effect 1, you are left with the major decision of appointing who you feel is the best individual to run the Council on behalf of Earth, and keep things in order during these strenuous intergalactic times.
We've already got too many politicians on the Citadel. The captain would be perfect for this job.
This could probably be a tipping point if you choose poorly, right? Well, surprise, surprise, it doesn't matter one bit. If you choose Anderson, he quits in between Mass Effect 2 and 3, and Udina is the counselor regardless. It all makes for a convenient plot to have both characters stick around, really.
We must stand side by side. We must fight against them as one. Together, we will drive them back into dark space.
Number 4, Leave the Bat Behind, Batman Arkham City.
Batman is down. I repeat, Batman is down.
In this DLC mission, you play as Catwoman while she pursues her own mischievous goals. Her storyline eventually syncs up with a moment from the main game as she notices that the Dark Knight is knocked out cold.
You can do it. Just walk right out of here and leave him. It's easy.
At this moment, she is left with the choice to drop everything to save the Caped Crusader or walk away with the loot she has stolen. If you choose the latter, the game will literally rewind to make you do what it wants. We get that this choice needs to coincide with the main game's narrative, but, well, the cat says it best.
It's not like he'll die. It's Batman, right?
Number 3, refusing to join Blade, Xenoblade Chronicles X.
But your decision will be just that, your decision.
So, picture this. You found yourself in a human colony on an uncharted alien world, and you've been recommended to join the dangerous exploration and reconnaissance division, Blade.
You can't spell Blade without team, sorta.
Of course, you're also reminded that
Blade service is voluntary, remember?
Oh, and also,
and I would never force or coerce anyone.
Now, given that NLA is a big city with a lot of opportunities, any realistic scenario should allow you to say no and just work in a coffee shop or a storage warehouse, right?
Now, you wouldn't want to refuse the people who saved your life, would you, friend?
Well, so much for never forcing someone to do dangerous volunteer work. You might want to look into your own choice of words there, Captain Nagy.
You said no, you wouldn't refuse. That's a yes, right?
Number 2, Water Thief or the Soldier, Spec Ops: The Line.
We got snipers.
After fighting across the war zone that was once Dubai, the player comes across 2 men tied under a sign with their mouths taped. What follows is a radio call from the game's main antagonist, Joseph Conrad, forcing Captain Walker to choose which of these 2 men will live and which will bite the dust.
This is a test.
Yes, it is.
No matter which you choose, a group of snipers kills the other one, and if you refuse Conrad entirely, you are gunned down instead.
The next shot will not miss.
Adams!
Now judge the... What?
The real kicker here is that at the end of the game, this entire scene is revealed to be a hallucination and that both men are already dead. Fun stuff.
The truth, Walker, is that you're here because you wanted to feel like something you're not, a hero.
Before we reveal our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
I hope you're right, Admiral. I hope we are on the same side.
First, you're the only one that can help. I need to send the NSF distress code. UNATCO tracked Lebedev to the other NSF bases, and to Silhouette in France.
I came to get you out of here.
Can't be too hard. I'll see what I can do.
Well, all right. Maybe our luck's finally turning around.
Sage Ihnen etwas. Wenn Sie ein Nicht-Arier gewesen wären, hätten Sie Zerwasser gegriffen.
Number 1, Confronting Ramsay Bolton, Game of Thrones Season 1.
Let her go!
She's quite pretty, your sister.
Let it be so that Ramsay Bolton should be placed into the dictionary next to the words sadistic and sociopath. With that in mind, anyone with even an ounce of logic would steer clear of this dude, as his erratic behavior can never lead to anything good.
Lovely meeting all of you. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Once it comes time to decide if you will back down or stand up to Ramsay, you're pretty screwed as he kills you no matter what choice you make.
Aren't you the bold lord?
So it becomes all the more puzzling how they even offer you an option to refuse a man who gets what he wants with no questions asked.
I think we've come to an understanding. I certainly feel better about all this.
What have you done?
Do you agree with our list?
Obviously not, because we're still here.
Which video games ripped choice out of your hands? For more meaningful top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
We need your help. Everything you can spare.